You can be surrounded by people, in a stable relationship, with caring friends, family nearby, and a seemingly controlled life, yet still feel a silent weight in your chest, a strange absence that words can't explain, a void no presence fills. This common feeling isn't trivial. It's the clearest sign something deeper is happening inside you. It's not just loneliness or exhaustion, it's a call from the soul. Carl Jung identified this void as one of the quietest pains of modern humans, a pain that doesn't explode or make noise but slowly consumes inner vitality. He said many of his patients weren't clinically ill, depressed, or diagnosable, yet they suffered deeply. They suffered because they were disconnected from their essence, having lost the bridge to their inner symbolic world, dreams, silence, and soul. When that bridge breaks, the world loses its shine. In this state of half-existence, relationships become distorted mirrors. You project onto others the impossible task of healing you, demanding they bring the meaning you've lost. This inevitably leads to frustration because no one has that power. What you feel is a disconnection from your own center, and until this wound is acknowledged, you'll keep jumping from one bond to another, trying to revive something never truly built. This video isn't a manual or a magic formula for relationships. It's a deep, symbolic, courageous dive into the psyche's waters. As long as you seek outside what needs healing inside, you'll repeat the same cycle of dissatisfaction. Are you ready to hear what your soul has been trying to tell you for years? Take a deep breath and come with me. Let's descend into the deepest layers of your truth, where what you truly need lives. The most devastating psychological suffering today isn't loud or attention-grabbing. It whispers day after day until you grow used to the void. You wake up, fulfill obligations, talk to people, work, consume content, attend social events, but it feels like someone on autopilot is doing it. Something is always missing, even when everything seems in place. This suffering has no name in traditional psychology, doesn't show as visible breakdowns, but seeps in silently until life loses taste and shine. Jung observed this with unsettling clarity in Man in Search of a Soul. Many of his patients, though not mentally ill, carried a deep sense of emptiness and futility. Shockingly, these were often successful, productive people with stable careers, relationships, and prestige, yet they felt disconnected from something essential, not love, money, or recognition, but soul. In Jungian thought, the soul isn't abstract or religious. It's the symbolic dimension that gives life depth, making every experience, however simple, feel complete. When this dimension is neglected, life becomes a series of tasks, obligations, and performances. You adapt to the external world at the cost of inner impoverishment, which manifests as boredom, chronic discouragement, or generalized dissatisfaction that destroys what's built. In this existential anesthesia, relationships fail. You expect others to bring meaning, rekindle life's flame, or ease the invisible weight, but they can't. They likely carry the same void, and two disconnected beings meeting inevitably breeds frustration, conflict, and abandonment. Modern society, prioritizing having over being, severed the bridge between the individual and their inner world. We reward performance, productivity, and image, but ignore the soul's subtle call: dreams, symbols, intuitions, nameless unease. The more we deny this, the louder it screams, especially in relationships. But this emotional collapse isn't the end. It's the beginning, an invitation to look inward. Next, we'll explore how relationships are living mirrors of our inner fragmentation. Relationships, however real or intense, often become psychic masks. When you enter a bond carrying unrecognized parts of yourself, what you don't want to see gets projected onto the other. You think you're falling in love, but you're enamored with an unintegrated inner reflection. You believe you hate someone's behavior, but you, system, are really confronting a shadow you've repressed within. This isn't cheap romanticism, it's deep psychology. Jung warns that most relationships are built on unconscious projections. You don't see the other as they are, but as your psyche needs them to be. They become a vessel for your disorganized desires, unhealed wounds, unprocessed traumas, and unresolved childhood needs. You demand, idealize, or control, not out of love, but out of a desperate attempt to get from them what only you can find within. This explains why relationships often start with enchantment and end in destruction. At first, the projection is beautiful. The person seems perfect, magical, a psychic salvation. But as time and reality reveal their flaws, the projected image crumbles, bringing disappointment, frustration, and rage. You wonder how they changed, but they didn't. You just saw beyond the projection. This happens in romantic relationships, friendships, family ties, and even workplaces. We project authority onto bosses, idealize parents, demonize colleagues, or seek friends' approval, all to reorganize what's unintegrated within. This isn't done out of malice, but ignorance. Ignorance of yourself. When unaware of your unconscious contents, they govern you. One of the most powerful archetypes in relationships is what Jung called anima and animus, representations of the feminine in the male psyche and the masculine in the female psyche. Unrecognized, they distort our closest bonds, making us love blindly, hate irrationally, become dependent, or flee connection. To understand their silent shaping of relationships, we must confront them head-on. Within every human are psychic polarities that, when unrecognized, quietly take control. Jung called these anima and animus, core archetypes of the collective unconscious. They're not just symbolic concepts, but living energies shaping how we love, desire, fight, and connect. When balanced, they bridge the ego and unconscious. When repressed or unknown, they turn relationships into emotional battlegrounds filled with idealizations, frustrations, and destructive patterns. The anima is the archetypal feminine in the male psyche, not external women, but what a man projects onto them. Emotions, sensitivity, intuition, mystery, beauty, danger. When unintegrated, it acts autonomously, driving men to seek an idealized figure in women that matches their unconscious fantasy. He falls for shadows, symbols, or unintegrated parts of himself. When the real woman fails to match this image, as she always will, since no one can carry another soul, resentment, distance, or contempt arise. The woman once adored as a muse becomes hated as a threat. The animus, conversely, is the archetypal masculine in the female psyche, manifesting as critical thought, authority, or action. When unconscious, it dominates, making women see men as enemies, dominators, or saviors. This creates relationships rooted in submission, aggression, or emotional dependency. She doesn't engage the real man, but an internal masculine figure distorting her perceptions and fueling conflict. These forces aren't good or bad. They're necessary. But when unconscious, they warp how we see others. The anima makes men seek wholeness in external women when they should look within. The animus drives women to battle or depend on men for what's internal. The result is broken relationships, repeated patterns, and endless searching. Integrating anima and animus is key to individuation, recognizing and dialoguing with these inner images. A man integrating his animus becomes empathetic and creative. A woman integrating her animus gains confidence and clarity. But this takes courage to face denied parts of yourself and abandon the childish hope that another will complete you. We're taught from childhood that someone out there will complete us, a myth repeated in movies, songs, and shallow therapy. Romantic love is sold as psychic salvation. No matter how broken or empty you feel, the right person will fix it. Jung exposed this as a dangerous illusion. Seeking wholeness in another is a sophisticated way to avoid your psyche. Love born of need becomes possession, control, and suffering. What we call passion is often a violent projection of unintegrated anima or animus. You're not loving the person, but an inner image projected onto them. This explains why you fall for people who don't make sense or feel crushed when they don't match your fantasy. This external search for wholeness is a psychic trap, keeping you in a cycle of frustration. When one relationship fails, you seek another, thinking the problem was the wrong person. But love hasn't failed you. You mistook it for a cure. Jung said every projection is a chance to grow. Disappointment in others is your psyche showing what you've tried to ignore. The void you feel won't be filled by anyone. No ideal partner, lover, or fleeting connection. True wholeness comes from integrating opposites within: reason and emotion, strength and vulnerability, light and shadow, anima and animus. When this happens, others stop being remedies and become mirrors, companions on the journey, not saviors. This journey, called individuation, is the path from fragmentation to wholeness, painful yet liberating. It's not about becoming your best self for the world, but reconciling with all you've repressed or feared. You integrate the ego with the unconscious, the persona with the shadow, the masculine with the feminine. Each step confronts uncomfortable truths, contradictions, rejected impulses, buried emotions, unprocessed traumas. Here you find what drives and sabotages you. The anima or an animus stop projecting fantasies and become inner guides. The shadow becomes a source of power. This shift changes everything. You no longer need others to feel alive or loved. You found it within. Relationships become spaces of truth, encounters between whole, self-aware beings growing together, not devouring each other. But this path demands maturity, abandoning comfortable illusions for the discomfort of authenticity. The truth is, while you flee yourself, no relationship will work, no love will suffice, no company will be enough. The hardest reality is that no one, no matter how much they love you, can save you from yourself. This truth is harsh but freeing. As long as you seek salvation in another, you'll stay trapped in expectation and frustration. The cure lies in sitting with yourself, facing the inner silence without distraction, and stopping the projection of your shadow. From there, everything changes, not from outside in, but inside out. Relationships are mirrors, revealing what's misaligned in your psyche. Feeling invisible may mean you're blind to yourself. Feeling unheard may reflect years of ignoring your soul. Repeated disappointments suggest you're expecting others to fill a role only you can. The good news? You don't have to stay trapped. Individuation begins the moment you pause and listen to this message. A sign something in you wants to awaken. Awakening hurts, requiring courage to shed illusions and commit to truth, even if it dismantles your fantasies about love, others, or yourself. The void isn't a punishment. It's a call to dive into your psyche and reclaim your soul. When you stop seeking wholeness outside and cultivate it within, you attract connections that don't demand you be half of anything. You meet people who don't complete you but overflow with you. You learn to love not from need but presence. If this resonates, it's not by chance. Comment, I choose to reconnect with my soul. Share this with someone feeling this invisible void. You're not alone. Each word here is a bridge, each video a path home. Breathe deep, subscribe, and keep going. The journey to your soul is just beginning, and your transformation started when you chose to truly listen. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.